Welcome to Motorcycling the Ho Chi Minh Trail. My name is Dwight Zimpel. I'm the host of YourVietnamTourGuide.com. My website is geared primarily towards helping travelers plan their own self-guided tours of Vietnam. I started my trip down the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Hoi An. I hired a driver and a motorbike or motorcycle. Riding a motorbike or motorcycle in Vietnam is one of the most dangerous things that a tourist can do, so I wanted to enjoy the scenery rather than pay attention to the road. We headed west from Hoi An. Mr. Ben, my guide, had assured me that he knew the route quite well, but unfortunately this was not to be true. The map that we had showed that the highway was on the north side of the river, and unfortunately the map was wrong and the highway was on the south side of the river. As we pulled up to the end of the road, we found ourselves on a cow path. I was not looking forward to several hundred kilometers of riding a bicycle or motorcycle down a cow path. Fortunately, we found a boatman that was able to transport us and the motorbike across the river, and we were able to continue on our way without any incidents for that portion of the trip. A few kilometers further down the road, we intersected with the Ho Chi Minh Trail, officially known as Highway 14. We then turned south and headed towards Dak Lai, where we planned on spending the evening. That evening we went to a local restaurant to have dinner, and I was pretty hungry and not paying a lot of attention. I ate everything on my plate, and then I looked across at Mr. Ben's plate, and there were a number of things that he had set aside that he didn't feel that were edible. I wonder to this day what it was that I had to eat that night. I never did ask him. I got up early the next morning and decided to take a picture of the local butcher shop, and it appears that everything but the squeal was on the table that morning. The next few hundred miles with nothing but fantastic scenery. Quiet rivers, cascading waterfalls, misty mountains covered with steamy jungle, and road construction. There were also local farms where people eked out a subsistence existence. Many of these local farmers are Montagnards, or as they're known in Vietnam, minority peoples. Here we have a picture of a small boy and his shy sister riding a water buffalo. There are a number of really fantastic scenes that I've got here. One of them here, we have a footbridge built from camo wire left over from the Vietnamese or American War as it's known here. Here's the home of a local farmer who raises manioc, if I remember correctly. Don't let this home fool you. There are a number of farmers who have become very wealthy in Vietnam due to the increase in tourism. Coffee is a very popular crop right now. As you can see, there's the local coffee crop being dried on the streets of, I believe that's Kon Tum. This is the Catholic Church in Kon Tum, which I believe is the oldest wood frame church in Vietnam. There is also home to one of the local orphanages. Here I am in front of one of the community houses for one of the local Montagnard tribes. I had to frame this particular picture very carefully because there was actually a fluorescent light hanging over the fireplace. This is a house where one of the local families resided. Here's a view of Loch Lake, which is about 50 kilometers south of Bon Matut. There's a number of pretty scenic waterfalls along the way, and a number of looks like local hangouts for young lovers. I came across one of the first elephants that I saw outside of the zoo in Saigon here in the highlands. Obviously this poor fellow's job was to carry tourists around all day. We did have one mishap along the way. We were riding through a construction zone where it was pretty dusty, and a big truck came by and threw up a big dust cloud, and as we moved over to the side of the road to get out of the way, we hit a cement block and dumped the bike. Broke the fairing and bent the shift lever, but we were able to get up and dust ourselves off, and with a few adjustments we were on our way. We did run into a bit of inclement weather. Fortunately, we could see the rainstorms coming from miles away, and we were able to find a place to take shelter, like a local house or along the road where it was out of the weather, so to speak. Well, here we are on arrival in Dalat, prior to being cleaned up, and here we are the next morning, just as Mr. Bin was getting ready to head back to Hoi An to be with his family. There are a number of Montagnard tribes in the area around Dalat. This particular family lives near the chicken village and makes their living as weavers. Here are some views of Dalat. It's a honeymoon capital in Vietnam. Also, we have a picture of Dalat Cathedral, quite a spectacular local landmark. This is a picture of me and my friend Titi. Titi is a genuine Easy Rider tour guide. Now, the Easy Riders are an informal guild of former South Vietnamese military men who haven't been able to get work because of their association with the former South Vietnamese government. If you want a genuine Easy Rider, please look for a man who's in his 50s or 60s, because the war ended in 1975 for those folks, and so they'll be quite up in age as far as being a tour guide. So if you want, like I said, if you want a genuine Easy Rider, look for somebody in his 50s or 60s. I hope you enjoyed my motorcycle tour down the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I'm sure that it's increased your interest in taking a tour of Vietnam. When you start planning your tour, please visit my website, www.yourvietnamtourguide.com. I have all kinds of information there that will enable you to make a self-guided tour. It'll save you a lot of money and take you to the places that a lot of tourists don't make it to. Hope to see you in Vietnam.